Okay, we're live. This is the OSRA Daily Scrum for Thursday, February 26th, 2015. And today we have a small crowd of two, Christian and myself. Do you want to start us off, Christian?
Sure. I worked on the OSRA 377 about the start date validation that shouldn't be earlier than OSRA establishment date. I did a refactoring. Don't know if you saw. I moved the validation and helpers in different folders, different files. So, and the validation I used the that active record validator class that you showed me,
Oh, cool.
and everything works fine now.
Excellent. Okay.
So what I wanted to bring up is I think we should move all of, or maybe most of the validators there inside folders, inside the validator folder, and it will be a lot cleaner. Or if not, at least the validator that are common, that are accessible into multiple models.
So you mean you want to extract validator methods from the models and put them into helpers or modules?
Into modules, yeah, into the validator modules.
And you've already moved all the existing validators from lib?
Yeah, I moved those.
Okay.
Well, there was only one.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That date not in future. Yeah. Yeah. Do we have a lot of validations that are repeated in different models?
Oh, I didn't look, to be honest. But
yeah.
I think we have a few.
Okay.
Question is, should we only remove the ones that are common to more than one model, or should we remove them all? Because if we remove them all, in the model we'll have a nice list of all the validations, and if we want to check what a validation does, we look inside the module. Will clean up a very...
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't see any particular problem with that, because I think that gives you, as long as the validator has a very descriptive name, so that you don't necessarily need to go and see its implementation to understand what it does.
Yeah.
It's just like, with all the standard Rails validations, where it validates that, presence true validates this, date not in future true. Yeah, I would be behind that.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll create a task for that.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. Also, I had to include those folders to auto-load them in the Rails config. Application RB, I think.
The helpers and the validators?
Yeah, it wouldn't load them by default.
That's a bit surprising. I thought it would load the entire app tree.
Yeah, I guess the concerns and services are inside the Rails already.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah, something to remember for the future then. Okay. What are you gonna work on next?
Well, let's see. What should I do?
Well, actually, sorry, before you answer that, let me give you my update, and then maybe we can discuss kind of more of a strategy for the, well, at least for the next couple of days before the client meeting. So I'm gonna use Slack to see what the heck I actually did. Oh yeah, so first of all, I submitted a pull request for this minor refactoring and reorganizing of the code in the orphan model today, and it's fairly straightforward. There is nothing complicated there. It's just that we had a few validator methods that were public. We had validators that were interspersed with callback methods, and then we had some methods that were complicated, and I extracted methods from that. So I just tried to basically organize the file a bit better and to refactor a few methods. And basically what I'm hoping this will do is allow us to see more clearly the structure of the orphan class, and then be able to make better decisions about how to reduce it and refactor it and what we can extract out of it as whole chunks of code, basically pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I did was I pushed our develop to staging, and the two key things in there are the improved regex for sponsor email validation that you wrote, and the create and add another sponsor button that I had implemented. And I sent these two things to the client for review. And there is still that major issue of whether we're incorrectly translating father dead as father alive. I had asked for clarification on it, and I haven't heard anything for quite some time. So it kind of seems to me that the client has, I guess, they're busy, they're unable to attend to this. That's fine. It's just that maybe we can focus on non-client driven stories for the time being then. So instead of trying to work on the things that they had requested, which we might finish and they won't have any time to review them anyway, we can work on either Rails functionality or I don't know, under the hood refactorings, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with that in mind, if you want to take something new, then I guess don't feel any pressure to take a client requested feature.
Well, it's kind of empty here. Let's see the backlog.
Well, yeah, for this, what we've pulled into this sprint is kind of empty. There's still, I realize there's this OSRA 375, which needs to be done. So in the sponsor show view, we need to be showing active and inactive sponsorships. And that looks like it's the last remaining task for the sponsors transition to Rails. But other than that, if you go to the backlog, at the bottom there are all these stories that got added last week. Mm-hmm. So I think it's reasonable to take one of those, even though we didn't originally take them into the sprint. And we also need to... No, I guess no, sorry. No, that's it. So basically, I would say if you look at the current sprint and there's nothing there that appeals to you, then just grab something from the backlog.
Yeah, I'm looking at the backlog, but all these tasks here are client requests.
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah, you're correct.
How are we with Rails? Christopher, I remember he added the orphan, right?
Yeah, he tackled almost the entire orphan, and then Gabriel did orphan show. But Christopher's pull request, he submitted it as a work in progress, and I left a comment with my answers to his questions, and I see that there's been no activity since then, so I guess he hasn't had any time to work on it.
We should move his tasks from to do into progress, right?
Yeah, you're right. Are you doing it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Is it all of them?
Yeah, he basically had one pull request for everything except for OSRA 380 that Gabriel had taken.
Well, since it's just CRUD, shouldn't be a problem. I hope.
And 380, yeah, it's merged actually, so Um, Gabrielle's OSRA 380 can go into the resolved.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, so in that case, I don't know. What I've been doing lately is I have a few of these sort of pain points with the application that I've been meaning to get to for a while, and so whenever I have some free time that I'm not working on client features, I give attention to those.
What what do you mean?
Well, for me, it's been the orphan model has bothered me for a very long time. It's very big. It has kind of a mishmash of code that deals with different concerns, basically.
Mm.
And that's why I started extracting the service objects, and that's why I'm thinking about trying to implement this orphan state machine. So if you have any things that have bothered you, uh, whether there's something that could use a little bit of refactoring or any other kind of improvement, then
Yeah, the thing is that because I didn't work on the models because you created this before I joined. It's not
yeah,
everything it's familiar to me yet.
right,
I'm not sure what everything does, and what everything means.
yeah.
So don't want to mess up something.
Hmm. Well, hopefully we have good test coverage. Um, well, I don't know what to recommend then, Christian. Just I don't know, poke around Jira.
Let's
Um,
see.
so okay, so we've done for Rails, we've done partner, user, sponsor, and let's say we've done orphan. So we have sponsorship
Yeah.
and we have admin user. And admin user is where we will have to implement sign in.
All right.
Um, so I don't know if we're at a point where there is no other Rails tasks left to do, then we can add another model. What do you think?
Um. Well, let's add the sponsorship first, right?
Yeah. Well, sponsorship is parts of it I think are going to be a little bit tricky because of we hadn't thought about how to implement sponsorship creation
Yeah,
because
I
right,
remember we need to have a discussion about that.
yeah, but we can probably start on it and kind of solve those problems in the process. Um, okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let me add. Migrate. Epic. Is remove AA. I guess let's add it to the current sprint.
The sponsorship.
Yeah. It's not going to be done in this sprint. But to be honest, the way we're working, I'm sort of starting to question the value of sprints.
Hmm.
Like we don't have any particular deliverable at the end of the 2 weeks. Um, and with so few people that we have, it seems to be kind of tough to set goals that we are going to reach for sure.
Yeah, it's not a constant
Yeah.
amount of work to do.
So we can. we can think of switching to the Kanban model instead of Scrum. As far as I understand, the biggest difference between the two is that Kanban is not time boxed, so there are no sprints, no time limits to anything. You just keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've created, there we go, migrate sponsorship from AA to HQ, and it's in the current sprint, right there. So if you want to get started on that, just add some subtasks and go at it.
Yeah, but we have to talk about how do we implement this, right? So, or should I just
Yeah.
reproduce active admin?
I think essentially that's what's going to happen. It was actually doing what we did in active admin was unnecessarily complicated, but it will be much easier to do it in Rails. Because to reuse that, the orphan index view, I remember that being a big pain in the butt. But in Rails, you can just extract the orphans partial and then use that both in the orphans index view and in the whatever the new sponsorship view, let's call it. But I think the sort of the method of creating sponsorships is going to be more or less the same. You go to a sponsor page, you click link to orphan, and that takes you to a view of all orphans that are eligible. And then from there, you just click on buttons for individual orphans.
Hmm.
I don't know, what do you think? Do you have any alternative suggestions for this?
Let me start a server here to see how it looks.
I mean, this workflow that you go to a sponsor and then from there you go to create new sponsorship, that was requested or suggested by the client. We didn't come up with it. Just sort of how we implemented it underneath by repurposing the orphan index. And that was our decision, but ultimately that's what the client had asked for. And then sponsorships. So currently there are sponsorship create, inactivate, and destroy methods in the controller. And there is only, I think there is only one view that is specific to sponsorships. It's that sponsorship new that displays the sponsor at the top and the list of orphans at the bottom. But the other two actions, inactivate and destroy, they don't have a view associated with them. They take place from the sponsor show page.
Sponsorship.
Actually, you know what? The other thing is that if we're really starting on sponsorship, then I think we need to make a decision about those service objects, because how you write the sponsorship controller will depend on whether or not which path we take, the service objects or what we had in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Right. So did the guys look over the services?
Brian looked at the very first pull request out of the 4 that I submitted. So the first 3, they're not meant to be merged. They were just kind of showing the process that I was taking.
Okay.
And he just basically said, looks good. But it's it's the last one that's the key one. That's the one that I want to merge in. But I haven't had any feedback except from you.
What else can I do to I don't know, approve this better? Or how should I say?
Well, I don't think there's anything for you or I to do. Like I said, I ideally I just wanted to get more eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I think that it's a good idea, there's
Looks good overall, but I didn't go in depth to check every method, everything that
yeah,
something is
yeah.
missing.
Well, that's fine as long as you sort of understand the logic behind it and API that those services present, how they're supposed to be used then. Um, and again, we have the tests to make sure that everything is still working.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't change that many tests in the end. So basically, the implementation has changed, but the functionality has remained essentially the same. Well, I don't know. I mean, we can merge it in, and then if it really blows up, we can roll back from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We can roll back, but if we add other merges on top of that,
yeah,
will
then it
be a
becomes very
problem.
painful.
Mm.
But from when was it? 2 or 3 days ago now that I pinged Brian, Craig, and Andre,
Mm-hmm.
asking them to look at it. The only response came from Brian, and that was not that much. And I think a couple of days ago now.
Well,
And
maybe
from the
let's
other,
wait until Monday or take it Sunday night because
yeah,
maybe they have time on the weekend.
yeah, yeah. Brian said that his Saturdays seem to be free, so yeah, maybe I'll have time. Okay, so um, well, keep this in mind when you work on the sponsorship controller. Then
Mm-hmm.
that there are these 2 alternative implementations, and I don't know. I think at this point I can say that we're probably going to go with the services, but um, there's a possibility that you might have to undo some stuff.
Okay, well, I will start working on it and then you will merge my pull request after you merge the services. So I'll
Yeah,
refactor after.
yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Uh, wanted to ask, did the production application fail again?
I haven't heard anything about it at all.
No.
Actually, let's go have a look at it. But
Mm. I
um,
saw the discussion on Google Plus from Thursday you had with the client when it failed.
yeah,
I thought it failed again.
let's have a look. Some activity. Let's look at, I don't know, 3 days. Oh, 224. And this is, okay, so those are the failures that we talked about on Tuesday.
Yeah, and no activity since then.
But it looks like they haven't done anything since then, basically.
So,
Yeah, I wonder if they're busy with something else because, like I said, I've sent them messages that I don't know
Are are they
to
doing?
me feel like urgent. But,
Yeah, are they working on OSRA full time, or is this
um,
only a side project?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that they're all volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
so probably not, I guess is the answer.
Maybe it's like an ONG that's paid by I don't know sponsors, and
Yeah.
they are volunteers, but probably getting paid, so they can work full time. Is there such a
Uh,
thing?
well, I guess there is such a thing as a nonprofit where people make salaries, but the goal of the
Mm-hmm.
company is not to make money. Um, but I really don't know. So yeah, it's possible that basically everybody's busy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So after we implement the sponsorship and the admin user, then we do the CSS to maybe graffiti.
Yeah, we need
And,
to refine all the views.
and after that, I think we're done with Rails, right?
I think we're essentially done. Excuse me. But I think we will need some pretty extensive testing.
So
Um,
we need the integration testing.
yeah, we need first of all to write those integration tests, and that idea that I had, I kind of think that it's not a bad one to have these one single integration test that basically runs through all the CRUD.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, I've been talking about having a product owner type person who can actually test drive manually through the browser and accept those features. Because we're not delivering them to the client for review, right? We're just going to basically flip the switch at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think sponsorship and admin user.
Well, we could ship them both, the active admin and the Rails, and tell the client to use the Rails, and if it blows up, to move to active admin. That's a start.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose.
Be-
Sure.
because we don't have anybody else to test.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably not a bad strategy. Yeah.
Because the models are solid, so it will
Hmm.
not do anything bad to the database.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah, getting closer. Can't
Huh? All
wait.
right. Um, so yeah, it's actually not unrealistic to think that in the next 2 weeks
Hmm.
we might actually get there. Okay.
Okay, cool. Then
Yeah.
we'll have to implement the rest directly in Rails, and it will be a lot better.
Yeah.
We don't have to do them twice.
Yeah. Actually, that now that I kind of realize maybe how close we are to the end. Oh no 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 no. Wait, sorry. I just remembered filters.
Oh, filters.
We need to decide on a strategy and then to implement filters for every single model basically in on the Rails side. So yeah, there's still a bit of work to do there.
Hmm. So probably the end of next sprint,
Yeah,
if we push.
if we push, yeah, if we can push. So actually, this weekend. Oh shoot! I wonder if I should reach out to the client because I am moving to. Uh, our family's moving to a new home on Sunday,
Hmm.
um, and they kind of promised that there should be internet there by 5 p.m. But it's also a Sunday,
Yeah,
so
Sunday
if there
doesn't seem
if
to.
there is no internet, there's probably nobody to flip the switch until Monday morning.
Hmm.
Um, So I don't know, but I would hate to miss a client meeting because of those issues that they were having.
Well, you can send them a message and we can move it to Monday if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully by Monday everything should be ironed out.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do that. Is Monday okay for you?
Monday or Thursday.
Yeah. I suppose Monday would be better if it's, keep it closer to the original.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
Sure.
I'll probably end up doing that then, and yeah, make sure that we can have it still.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Let's um, let's push some rails.
Yeah, let's put the sponsorship then.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Christian. So see you on Monday then, probably.
Yeah, okay. Leave a
All right.
message on Slack so I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do. All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.